All right, my friends, welcome. Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal. North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. Happy leap year. Happy leap year day. Today is Thursday, February 29th. How about that? 2024. It happens to be a leap year day, my friends. And leaping we are. And hope all is well. And this guitar right here, man. We got this guitar. It's almost 23 years old. We got this guitar around October, November, or early November 2001. And around that, well, this year, in the fall, it's going to be 50 years since I started playing guitar, and I never stopped. Those 23 years having this guitar, and it's made us a lot of money, I'll tell you that. We've been in a lot of places, made us a lot of money, and it continues to move forward. It is an early version of, I call it Cordoba, maybe it's pronounced Cordoba. This happens to be the model CWE/S. This is called Sycamore, back and sides and top. Great guitar, man. Great. It's a cross between a flamenco and a classical guitar. It's got the Fishman electronics. Everything on this guitar is original, of course, except the strings. So, yeah. So, as the title implies, I wanna share something with everybody here. I have to wear this one more week. I got to wear this for 2 weeks. This is a heart monitor. It's a wireless heart monitor. And the reason being is because December 27th, just this past December, 2 days after Christmas, I was scheduled to do my colonoscopy. Every 5 years I have to go and do this procedure because I'm high risk for colon cancer. And that's what my sister passed away from back in 2011. So every 5 years, I started that procedure in August of 2011 when I was 48. And every 5 years, I have to do this procedure. They find the polyps, they disappear, they're benign and everything. So, but this time around, what happened was I was scheduled for my procedure, and I did the whole procedure, prepping and everything. And I'm at the clinic getting ready for the procedure, and they do a heart monitor thing. And now I was feeling a little bit tired, but I fasted and everything. And I drank the solution. I kind of overdid it with the fasting, and I was able, before I cut myself off of the coffee, I was able to drink coffee up to a certain point, and the rest was just water. So anyways, I'm getting ready to get the procedure done, and they come out, and the nurse, she leaves the room, and I thought maybe it was a problem with the machine or something, you know. Comes back, gets me going again with my heart rate, and no, something's not right here. I hear a heartbeat from the room next to me, and it sounded normal. And then I hear another heartbeat sounded abnormal, but you know, I wasn't really putting the two together. So she comes back in, and I hear another nurse say something like, "Oh, we got a cancellation." I'm thinking, "Oh, well, maybe someone couldn't show up or couldn't make it, whatever." And then she comes in the room with me, and I happen to be the cancellation. And she says, "Okay, Mr. Byron, we got to cancel your scheduled procedure because your heartbeat it's coming at 140 beats per minute, and we cannot do this procedure because we don't know if you're gonna have a heart attack or not." Hey, what's going on, man? You know. So she tells me I got to go across the street to Cape Coral Hospital, and I got to go into the ER emergency room. So she asks me if I have someone with me. I says, "Yeah, my wife. She's in the lobby." Okay, yeah, have her take you across the street. Okay. So I come out, and you know, Deb right away like, "Geez, what's going on?" You know, and I told her, I says, "Hey, I think I got to cancel because I got to go across the street to eat to the emergency room because they claim my heartbeat is it's racy." I really didn't feel it, although I felt tired. Now I felt this before, and I know what it feels like. It just starts just beating real fast. So we go across the street. We're there like 6.5 hours. Um, they're drawing blood and coming, having me come back, and they had to do it like spaced out every 3 hours. Asking me all these questions. They go draw blood, and by this time I'm getting ready to pass out because I went like 24 hours without having anything to eat because my scheduled colonoscopy was at noon, and you know, so I had a fast prior to that. So by the time they did the second run of drawing blood, and they had a hard time because my blood was real thick. So second time around, man, I'm getting ready to pass out, man. I'm like, oh, and then the other nurse says, "Oh my God, he's turning pale. I better give him a shot of something." So they give me a shot of something, and they revived me. And I explained to them again. I said, "Listen, I was, did the procedure for the colonoscopy." I said, "Doesn't this have anything to do with this?" "Oh yeah, it could, but mostly, it's your heart. Just is it's different, and you know." And that's another thing what they said at the place for the colonoscopy. They says, "Oh man, your heart's real important. We can't play games with this." And I understand because if they put me under, and if I have a heart attack and I die right there, there's gonna be a lawsuit. So, okay. So after they did the second draw of blood, now this time Deb's was able to come with me. Instead of being in one of the emergency rooms, every room was filled. They had me in the hallway, and they had me hooked up to the IVs and everything. And by this time, my heart rate is calmed down back to normal pace. It went from 140 beats. At one point, they said it went to 150 BPMs, beats per minute, and then it started to come back down to the 80 beat per minute range. Now I was feeling a little bit more relaxed because I'm just so worn out because again, no food, no, I couldn't drink anything. Man, I was thirsty as hell. So between the second and the final blood draw, when they did a reading, I guess my heartbeat spiked 18 points. So then they come out, they do the blood draw again, and then now after they did that, now the doctor comes out, and he says, "Listen, I look at your heart, your what's going on here, and just a little while ago, your heartbeat spiked like 18 points. It's still in the normal range, but it spiked 18 points. So we really would like to keep you here 24 hours because we're afraid if we release you, you stand a real strong chance of having a stroke." I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." I'm like, "Okay." And then he leaves. Says, "Okay, let me do the reading of this last blood draw." So he leaves, and I'm looking at Deb. I says, "I really don't want to stay here. I want to get something to eat. I want to get some water in me right now." and then we could go home and, call it a day. So Deb talks with the nurse and says, "Listen, could my husband get some water? I mean, he's been, you know, almost almost 24 hours now, or a little past it now, with not having anything in him." And finally, they said, "Okay, yeah," but it took her a while to get it because they had to unlock it. Where she had to go to the water, they had it locked up. So finally, she comes back with a cup of water, and I just happened to bring 2 shortbread cookies with me because I know after the procedure with the colonoscopy, I need something in me until we get to the restaurant. And then she asked the nurse, "Well, could he have at least a couple of those cookies because it's like he's starving." And they said they're not gonna let me dehydrate because, and I understand they're gonna put the IV in me, but I was just hungry and thirsty. So they they let me have the couple of cookies, and I almost swallowed them whole, and I was still hungry as hell. And then the doctor comes out, and everything seems to be normal with the blood work, but his concern was with the spiking of my heart rate. And he, again, emphasized he would like to keep me there a full 24 hours at the hospital, but I can't make it. So it's really your decision. He said, "I really advise to stay, but it's really your decision." And after talking with that, I said, "Listen, Doc," I said, "I really want to go home. I want to get something to eat. I'm sure if I get some rest." And he says, "Well, okay. I mean, you have to sign off on this." And then I said, "Okay." So before he goes back to get the sign out papers, and now this time, at this point, we've been at the hospital 6.5 hours at that hospital. That plus you add in while waiting for the colonoscopy, plus prepping for everything. I mean, I was weak, weak, weak. So he tells Deb, he says, "Look, if anything happens, you call emergency, you call 911 right away. You give him a baby aspirin, you call 911 right away, because he runs a risk of having a stroke." Okay, so finally we get to sign out. We go to Mel's Diner. I get some pasta and I made some salad. And when I was talking with one of the nurses, a male nurse, he said that, yeah, he stopped drinking coffee, but now he drinks decaf. He says, "You can have that." But he also said, "Watch your sodium intake and that." I said, "Okay." So I had a cup of decaf, no issues, no problems, got home. And so that was in the evening of December 27th. Now, January 1st rolls around. I had no problems, no issues. January 1st rolls around. The first day of the year I got a gig, and I'm all excited because I want to do it, Start the new year, start 2024 with a gig, right? So I had some time off for Christmas break, and Deb was at work, but she was gonna meet me over at the club, and had something to eat and prepping for the evening gig, and I had a little candy cane. I ate that. After I ate the candy cane, I was about maybe 5-10 minutes tops, and then all of a sudden here, I felt my chest pounding, and I mean just pounding. I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." So I drink some water, rest a little bit, and it's still pounding. So I figure, okay, let me go lay down. So I lay down, and about, I would say maybe 20 minutes, it was still pounding. And I'm debating. I'm like, this is not the time for this to happen because in about an hour or so, or maybe half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, I got to get ready and head over to the club, set up the gear, sound check, and have Deb meet me there. So it's still, my heart's still racing and that, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it. There's no way I'm going to make it. I was worried that if I push myself while I'm recording as I'm playing, I could, double over and have a heart attack or a stroke right there, and I don't want that. So I sent Deb a text message. So I did not have Jeremy's number. If I had her, if she could send a message, I got to cancel tonight because my heartbeat is racing and it's not stopping. So I send her a text message, then she calls me and she says, "What's going on?" And I explain to her. She goes, "Okay, I'll call Jeremy, and then we'll just have to cancel." So she does that, and then a little while after that, sends me a text message. Jeremy said, "No problem. We'll just see you next week." Fine, no problem. So by the time Deb got home, now my heart rate, it calmed down. It felt like it was back to normal. And I'm thinking, crap. If I wanted to, I could hurry up, get the gear set, packed up, race to the gig. Say, "Hey man, I'm feeling better now. I could do the gig," and then race, 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 run, 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 and then all of a sudden there goes my heart rate again, and then boom, there's the heart attack. Didn't want to chance that, so I just let it just as a day off. So when Deb got home, she stopped at the store and she got me one of these. It's I don't know if you ever had to see one of these. It's Cardio Mobile. It's an app. This thing right here, an app that hooks up to your phone, and just as the fingers are, as you see them, it takes 30 seconds to get it going, but it does your heart rate, and it'll say whether you're in AFib mode or normal mode. So, like 3 times a day since she's got this, I got this in the evening of January 1st. Every single day I've been doing my heart monitoring. Everything's been normal, which is great. So that was January 1st. January 3rd, I had an appointment with my doctor. The reason I'm telling you guys this is, stick around. I'm leaving this up anyway, so there's a reason why I'm bringing all this up. I'm feeling fine right now, but January 3rd, I had my appointment with my doctor, and he sees the report, does a little testing. He goes, "Okay, I got to put you on blood thinners because your blood's too thick, and because of this report with your heart rate, we got to put you on blood thinners." Like, I never been on medicine in my whole life. I just turned 60 years old November, and I never been on anything. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Now, my grandmother in 1993 did pass away from complications due to her stroke. So, I mean, it could be all hereditary. But me and my family, I'm the only one that never drank, never smoked. So he prescribes this, and after tells me he's got to put me on blood thinners and gives me the prescription. We call it in, and by that evening we had to pick it up. So I have to take 2 of these a day, and they gave me a 3-month supply, 90-day supply with my insurance. Now this is where I want to really nail this in for people. Why this is important, because you could be going through this and not really understand. You're thinking, "Oh man, it's just sugar, a little over sugar buzz or whatever," or it could be this thing AFib. I forget exactly the proper pronunciation of it, but in short, it's AFib. It's when your heart starts to speed up, and I guess the top part of the valves, they can't let enough blood through, and it starts trying to pump it real fast. So with my insurance through my job, this only cost $90. About a week or so after we got these, we got the statement in the mail breaking down with my insurance. Without my insurance, so if I did not have insurance through my job, through this job I have, just 3 of these cost over $1,600. Now, hopefully, on March 22nd, I'll find out if the doctor could take me off of these. Because so far, everything's been reading normal. Let's see. About a week after that, I had to go for I had to see the cardiologist, and they hooked me up to some machines, and everything was reading normal. Then after that, about a week after that, I had to go to a radiologist. Yeah, And then they stuck me in a machine, lay down, and they had to do more blood draw, and then hook the IVs, and I had to have my arms hanging out of this machine, and it's like a round cylinder thing, and they stick you in there, and you have to hold your breath for about 10 seconds, and then the guy's voice over the machine says, okay, you could breathe now. And the procedure maybe lasts around 15 minutes. And what it is, they're taking all these pictures. I don't know if it's 3,600 pictures or 36,000 pictures they take of all your, arteries, everything. Um, I had to get it. I had 1 hour prior to that procedure. I take a pill that relaxes you. That, with my insurance, only cost 29 cents. That was incredible. So I take that pill an hour before that procedure. When I get there to do the procedure, they gave me a little tablet that dissolves. I stuck it on my tongue. Either that was a nitroglycerin or what they stuck in my vein. It's like a fluid. That might have been a nitro, and it goes through your whole body. It just goes through all your arteries. They did tell me that I might experience on this procedure with the radiologist, I might experience a headache. I didn't experience that. When you put the little pill under your tongue, your mouth does heat up, but it's not it's not overbearing. And they did say when the chemical fluid that's going through your veins will heat you up a little bit, and it'll give you a sensation like you're wetting yourself, but you're not. I really didn't experience that. So we go through that procedure. Everything seemed to be fine, no problems. And then when they pulled me out of the machine, they had me sit up. They did tell me you might feel dizzy but not nauseated. And I felt that only for a few seconds. And then I was able to get up and go out into the lobby. And of course, Deb was there. She took me there. And they sent me on my way. Then after that, about a week after that, I had to go see, they call it the echo test. And what it is, it's an ultrasound. And Deb was able to sit in the room. And they darkened the room just like I have this dark. They darkened it up. They had me lay down. And the lady, she puts the solution on my chest and everything. And she got this little, like a mouse, it's kind of like a mouse. And she's going over my heart. And she said, now, if you hear something that sounds like a washing machine, that's actually the sound of your heart beating. Okay, so, of course, I heard that. And she's real nice. She had some real nice soft music playing in the background. Very calm, very, very calming. And she was a very nice lady. Very nice. She's been doing this for like 25 years. So she was, okay, well, so far we're so good, And I was able to go on my way. And a week after that, they put this on. It's a wireless heart monitor. I have to wear it for 2 weeks. I'm on my second week wearing this thing. So March 22nd, I'm going to get the results of everything. And then, hopefully, everything is good. Then I could reschedule the colonoscopy. Originally, my doctor, when he prescribed this, he said usually when people get put on this stuff, it's for life. Or a very long time. But normally for life. So, hopefully I feel fine. Hopefully everything's going to be fine. No issues. What I want to stress, if anyone out there is going through anything like this, or you're at a certain age, and you need to take these, they say there were side effects. I've not experienced not one side effect, not one at all. But if you have to be put on anything like this, and for the rest of your life, you have to take these. If that's the case, try your best to keep the insurance, man. Because could you imagine spending over $1,600 every 90 days for the rest of your life? And of course, there's cost of living. Inflation always goes up, right? It's easier to spend $90 than $1,600. If I did not have this, my driving gig, my driving job, and because I'm employed with the city of Cape Coral, so I got a city job, and I got real good insurance. If I didn't have that, then every time I see a piece of gear, which I'm trying to control all that, buying gear. What I got works. I like it. But when you walk away, from any type of insurance, and if it's a situation where you have to keep your job because of that situation, and it gives you insurance, keep that job, my friends. And I'm not trying to be a downer or anything like that. The reason why I'm saying this is that you will not know what the outcome could be if you lose your insurance and you got to pay for everything out of pocket. Sometimes you can work out a deal because it's a cash pay, but sometimes you won't be able to. Or when you go to these doctor's visits, you may have the cash now, but how long will you have that cash? And the reason why I say this, I've seen videos, and I've seen you had people ask me about, at the gigs, oh, would you do this full time? We used to do music full time. That's when we were able to sell CDs, and it was great, man. It was a great experience. And if you're young, you got time on your side, absolutely. But just remember one thing: everything that you're gonna do is gonna come out of your pocket. There is no insurance unless you apply for insurance. Now, there is Christian Health Ministries that we also belong to, and it helps. But you do have to pay out first. Now, the thing is, with the driving job, yeah, it comes out of the check, but I get paid pretty good. So I see where everything goes, and I'm still able to, take care of the cost of living, between Deb and I working. It was a real smart move that we decided to do when we got down here. Because another thing I want to share with everybody out there, and this is something that Jeffrey Dean, he's got a YouTube channel, the Solo Gigging Life. He's experienced slowdowns with the gigs and that. But he made a comment that I've been saying for a long, long time. Your biggest expense is your car. If you don't take care of your car, how are you going to get to the gig? You're not going to be able to get to the gig or to work or anything. So that's an expense. And when you play at these clubs, if you could do that full time, you're not going to make that much money. That's the reality of it. And there's only 52 weekends in a year. And if, let's say, your average is $200 a gig, you're still below poverty. And when you start really looking at it, okay, cost of living, okay, my car needs maintenance. You start neglecting your car, you ain't going anywhere, because it's not a matter of if, it's when it breaks down. And when that happens, and you go to finance another car, you go to a dealership, and you tell them that you're a full-time musician playing in a cover band, they're gonna tell you, you need a cosigner. You need a cosigner. There are certain realities to all of this. Now, I'm not trying to be a downer, like I said, but again, if it wasn't for having that gig, I wouldn't be able to afford this. One thing I do want to bring up that I've tested with this. If you're doing a lot of practice exercise, and I do a lot of speed burst exercise to keep up my chops. So after I do my speed burst exercises, my practice exercise, then I hook up myself to this thing, and I guarantee my heart rate does spike. It does speed up a little bit. It's still normal, but it does speed up. So it's something to think about, how to control certain things so you don't get sick. Because you don't want that to happen, man, my friends. You don't want that to happen. It's not a great feeling, It's really not a great feeling. So, again, if anyone would have asked me, especially now going through this, it's very common. A lot of people have this, so it's not a rarity. But when you have this, and maybe I'm just in its early stages, so we're able to, take care of it, because part of it is what you eat. And when we're in the doctor's office, they have, the screen playing all kind of tidbits and how to take care of your health and that. And they did mention, watch your sodium intake, because high sodium, that'll trigger a lot of this. It's real bad for you. So now when we go to the grocery store, I'm looking at, like, if I get cans of soup or whatever, I'm looking at the ingredients. The first thing I look at is the sodium count. And it's funny when Deb said this, she said, you know what? Five foods that's absolutely bad for you. The first two, I think it is. Miss Sonia, what is happening? Now I'm starting to see this. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It's really, it's what it is. Anyways, the first food that's bad for your heart, bacon. I think the second, French fries. So it's all the stuff that we like to eat. You gotta be careful. You gotta really, really be careful. Again, worst case scenario, you have a stroke, it could kill you. When you have AFib, and I guess especially if you're in its full stages, when you have this, you're 5 times most likely to have a stroke. So again, you got to really be careful. So because of being diagnosed with AFib, I've had this situation in the past before where I would feel it, and not understanding exactly what it was. It was very, very sparingly, like once in a blue moon, my heart would start to race. But I mean, you'll literally be sitting like I was. I was in the doctor's office waiting to get the procedure for the colonoscopy. They did my heart rate. I was just sitting there, not doing anything, and my heart was beating at 140 beats per minute. So, it could spike. It happened anyway. It could happen right now. But thank God I think I figured out what I got to do to avoid that. But playing more melodies as opposed to trying to do the full-on shred has really also helped. I mean, I like to play melodies as well. I like that balance. But now this has got another meaning behind it, where I'm not putting so much stress. I do these gigs 3 hours straight through. I've done 4-hour gigs straight through, and it's fun. I get locked in that zone, but how healthy is it really as we get older? You just don't know. I'm not Superman. I like to push myself. I feel young, but I know now I'm crossing that threshold where I got to really start to monitor everything that I do, so I don't push myself into having a stroke. And then even if I don't die, which I don't wanna, I'm not ready to make Deb a widow. Another scary thing is you'd be paralyzed. Or if not paralyzed, it takes a very long time to recover. One of the waitresses that we ran into, one of the places we were playing at, she went to another place, but we ran into this restaurant, and we were talking about that, and she said her brother, I guess, is only in his 30s, he had a stroke, and she said it took a very long time for him to recover from it. A very long time. So it's something you gotta watch. So if you ever start getting that feeling like your heart is racing, you may want to go to a doctor and find out what's going on, and not let it go. So, don't let it go. Really, don't let it go, because if you could catch all this in its early stages, then you could potentially start the reversing process. Hopefully 100%, but if not, at least 80%. And my hope is that I don't have to take these for the rest of my life. I gotta take 2, one in the morning, one evening. About 45 minutes from now, it's 8:45 down here in Florida. So at 9:30 at night I take one. 9:30 in the morning I take one. I space it out to 12 hours. I cannot take any, if I get a cold, I cannot take any medicine other than, I think they did that, Tylenol. But I cannot take antihistamines or anything like that, because I guess it's going to really mess with the blood center. Now, the doctor, when I go on the 22nd, he's going to determine if he can take me off the Eliquis and just say, okay, just take a couple of baby aspirins. Baby aspirins are basically low-dose aspirin. But I might have to do that for the rest of my life because of having this. So yeah, you might want to, if you start ever feeling that, where your heart starts fluttering and race, don't take that lightly. And what they'll probably do is they'll stick you with one of these. Again, these are all portable heart monitors. You gotta wear them for 2 weeks. I guess in the past you had to have a bag or something, not a bag, but a battery, because they were hooked up to a battery charger or whatever. But now everything is wireless. It's gonna be interesting when I have to mail this in. This is the last week I have to wear this. So I think Deb said Sunday. I could take this off. They gave me the package to mail it in. It has to be mailed through UPS. Yeah, UPS, not FedEx, not the mail. It has to go through UPS. And then they're gonna take the chip and they're gonna read what it's, what my readings have been. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Hey, what's happening, brother? I had to wear one of. Oh, last week. Oh, wow, man. So you know about these? Yep. A little heart monitor, and then you have to mail it through UPS. It can't be anything else. And then I guess what they're gonna do, then they're gonna see if there's any spiking with this. There's been no spiking with this. I keep this for as long as I want to keep this. We bought this. But now it's gonna be interesting because where the doctors are gonna see their spiking is either at every Monday because of the gigs, or certain times out of the day when I'm doing my drill exercises or picking exercises. I'm trying to really tame that so I don't lose control of that. It's very easy to just, you get in the zone, you want to just rock out. And it is healthy to get the heart going, but you cannot be on all the time. That's just it. We're not a machine. We have limitations. So that's what's been going on, and it does change. It does change your perspective on everything, man. It really does. I thank God that I have my driving job because I got real good insurance. I know there's people that give advice out there, whether it's in the music or the art world, the fine arts. I've been getting back into drawing and painting that because it's very therapeutic. It calms me down. Or like voiceover. There's a girl named Voiceover Angela. She's really cool because she had made a comment about people who feel that they need to be full-time voiceover actors, and she says, "No, you know what? Have multiple streams of income, and then you won't be putting so much stress on that one thing." Which is very, very true because you put the stress on one thing, and now you feel like you have to sell yourself. There's a guy. He's got his channel. He's an artist. He does abstract paintings, huge paintings, and he's got big accounts, man. He's making some bank. His name is Brendan Parker Art, and he had this video that's, I guess, 5 tips if you want to be a full-time artist. This could be applied to music as well or anything. One of those tips is when you sell yourself, hold to your price. Negotiate when you have to. But if you appear that you are unsure of your price or you're unsure of your ability to sell yourself, the buyer is going to see that, and the buyer is going to say, okay, I can negotiate with this guy, especially if that is the only source of income. So if your music is your only source of income, only source, and it gets slow. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have ups and downs. We've had them. That's why you got to save your money. That's why you got to be real smart with your money. But if you are hitting your finances are going into the red, and this is the only source of income, whether it's a combination of performing live and teaching, because I'm going to tell you what, teaching, you're going to have students come and go. I've had that. I've had a lot of students, especially when I was in Illinois, and I had them for a few years, and then sometimes they would drop off because if especially with young kids, if one of the parents loses their overtime at work, then they got to cut back on the activities. And there's sometimes kids are in all kinds of activities, and if they enjoy sports more than guitar playing, Well, the parents will say, okay, we'll keep him in sports. We'll just have to drop the guitar lessons. So that fluctuates. And if that is all your income, you're relying on that income, you start feeling it. And when you start feeling it, you kind of project it outward. So when you're approaching club owners and you're trying to sell yourself, if you're not getting any gigs for a while, or it's a little bit rough, and now you would put all the stress on this for your only source of income, now when you go out to sell, you could start to appear like you're desperate. And when those people see that, then you're going to be held to the price they want to pay you. And sometimes people get so desperate that they start saying things they really don't mean, or their whole demeanor, their whole attitude is more on the combative, on the defensive, you know. And the club owner could sense that and like, okay, I don't think I want to deal with this guy because he comes across as very pushy, you know. Maybe he doesn't understand that I also have overhead and I'm struggling to pay bills too. Now this guy wants a gig. And you see, you have to understand club owners, when you do all these covers, they have to pay into those performance royalties. They do, otherwise they get fined, and a lot of them they're opting out. There's a place that used to be open, and I just Googled it earlier today. Now they're permanently closed. There's another place I only done one gig there with Mike. They closed, and they reopened. They used to have music, and they reopened under a different name. Now the guy, I have to get back with the guy, see if he wants to have music, because he's thinking about not having music. There's places that are starting to wake up to this, because now more and more as I talk with these club owners, they start mentioning about, yeah, I've got to pay this, pay that, and pay into the the copyrights and that. It's copyrights, and it's also called performance rights. They call it PROs, performance rights organization, because you're playing in a public place and you're playing someone else's music. You're making money off of someone else's work, and now they come out. They come out. Why are they doing it more and more now? More now than they ever done before is because everybody wants free music. No one's buying music anymore. So these people lose they lose that income from record sales and CD sales and that. So now they did come out a little bit more strict with that. There's another place that was going to have music, and now they're not having music. So my point is that when you're putting all that stress on one thing, it gets tough. And then if you get sick or something like this happens, and you got to buy this stuff, without my insurance for my driving gig, that's $90 every 3 months for three of these bottles. Without my insurance, it's over $1,600. And it's like, okay, if I had to be on this for the rest of my life, that's for the rest of my life, now till I die, $1,600 plus. It's over $1,600 every 3 months if I walk away from my driving gig. So, if anyone's out there and you see all these videos about giving advice how to do this full time, I'm not saying don't. It's a great experience. What I am going to say is, after going through this and finding all this out, finding how much all this stuff costs, you may really want to think about it before you walk away. If you have a side gig that I know maybe you don't like, it's not your dream gig, but it's not too bad. I could deal with it. And you got good health insurance, whether you're starting to get older or you're young and you have health issues, be very careful walking away, because I'm going to tell you right now, the only time you get insurance with music is if you start paying for it out of your pocket. And a $200 gig, it's either $100 to $200 gigs in these bars and restaurants, with these cover bands. That's not enough money, man. If you get sick, that's not enough money. And then you got to also watch what you say too, because the owner says, geez, he might have a heart attack. Geez, should I get somebody else to replace him? See, you don't know. The only reason why I'm sharing this with people is that if you have to go through this, what you could expect. all these procedures that I've had, none of it hurt. So, and I had no side effects. The only thing that will hurt is like if I couldn't afford it. Then the panic could set in. Now the heart rate goes higher. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be a hypochondriac or anything like that, but I have to start thinking. You know, every day that passes, we're all getting older. We're not getting younger. So, and again, I've seen some videos. You got younger people saying, "Oh, it's great. You could walk away, this, that, and the other." And I'd advise anybody. You know, I used to think like that too, and we have, but that was a little bit when we were younger. But as we're getting older and you start experiencing these things, and you know, it's like you hit the brakes, man. You start really analyzing everything. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. If I do this, what's going to happen down the road? Maybe nothing, but maybe something. So you don't know. So it's kind of wise to look at everything and say, okay, if I have to do this for a while in conjunction with this, I think I could handle it. I'm strong enough to handle it. I'll be all right. So um, that's what's been going that's what's been going on, man. You know, it seems like forever. I know it's only been I got diagnosed with this, or actually, well, basically I did. I got diagnosed with this December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. AFib. I would see ads on commercial on that, not realize that whenever I would feel my heart race like that, that's what that was. I've never been in a hospital and never had to take medication my whole life. I've always been healthy. But, you know, sometimes life throws you a curve. Now, again, with my eating habits, I have definitely changed all that. So that's definitely, if you experience anything like this, you know, right away go to a doctor and get yourself set up. Get yourself set up with a family doctor. Try to learn as much on your family history as possible, because that's definitely gonna help. But your diet also, man, your diet, and it's a lot of them with that high sodium. Again, if you like bacon, you're gonna have to stay away from bacon, man, because it's extremely high in sodium. You like French fries? Be careful of French fries, high in sodium. And that's going to affect your ticker, man, and you won't know it. See, all of this takes a long period of time. It's just like chipping away at the stone for a long period of time. And then that's when, boom, everything starts hitting you. It's like, hey, man, what's going on? So I hope this could help everybody out there. And I don't want this to turn into a negative video about, oh, should I go full-time with my music or my art or this? No. Do what you want. But always keep in the back of your mind that everybody is different and everyone's situations are different, and it's going to affect you financially. And if something happens where you got to buy all this stuff, now it's going to come out of your pocket. And can you honestly afford it? It doesn't mean you're not good enough. You know, doesn't mean anything like that. That's you know, it's really sad that people judge other people by how many, you know, views they have, or how many gigs they have, or this, as opposed to looking at the actual, you know, ability to do something. You know, it's like watching the Olympics and take the person that is so far behind, he didn't even make the Olympics. He's in last place, and then elevating that person up to like star status, but the guy can't even tie his shoes, let alone run around or skate or whatever, or ski. He's fumbling and bumbling. You know, probably a nice guy, or a nice gal, probably not, but they are not fit for that position. They're just not. But yet people say, "Oh yeah, that's great. Oh, it was wonderful," you know. So, you know, it's just weird how people judge other people's abilities. You know, that's all. It's just kind of weird. And again, it doesn't mean that if you have to have other sources of income, that you're not good enough at your craft. What I am saying is a smart person's going to look at this and say, okay, what's going on, and how could I take care of a situation or prevent a situation from happening a financial situation. If you're healthy enough to work, go for it, man. Go for it. Because you're not going to regret it down the road. If you feel you could do this, go ahead. Do it, whatever your craft is. Try it. Do it for full time, Go for it. And if you start feeling like a financial pinch, that's what you're going to start to feel, financial pinch. And it start hitting you, the worry wart. Now you're getting into the red with the finances, and it's starting to worry you. Are you starting to lose sleep over it? Is it starting to affect you when you start selling yourself for gigs? Are you coming across a harsh person, a desperate person? These people could read all this. You may want to take a step back and consider, okay, what could I do that I could relieve stress off of this for income? Then when I come to do this, it's more enjoyable, and I won't come across as being pushy, It's just something to think about. And I know there's people out there that maybe will see this video and like, okay, maybe I never thought about that. And it's again, everyone's situation is different. So, and that is one of the reasons why I brought all this up. It's really one of the main reasons. If you start feeling that there's something wrong, go to a doctor. Don't mess around with your health. Really don't mess around with your health, because it could be very, very it could put you in a bad situation. If it doesn't kill you, it could cripple you for life, and if it's preventable, then try every means possible to prevent something from happening. So I'll keep everybody posted. We're still doing our gigs. And we are doing a new adventure. I'm not revealing it yet, because we got a couple of test runs we're going to be doing, and we'll determine how those come out, and then after that, probably reveal. So probably maybe midsummer, late summer, then I'll start exposing exactly what this new venture is with the music. We're taking the music with us. We're still doing our gigs. That's not changing. But something sparked an interest, and I saw an opportunity, and I'm looking at it from the sidelines, and I'm thinking, okay, I might be able to do something here, because maybe no one has tried it, Maybe it won't work, but I'm going to find out, And then we'll keep people posted. But I guarantee, when we reveal that, you could think and say, that makes sense. The two go together. So, okay, my friends, I don't want to be on too long and ramble and fumble and bumble and all of that. And it's not the pity party. It's just to keep people updated. And I wanted to share this because you guys might be going through this. And I think, like Surf Prophet said, he had to wear one of these heart monitors, It's not fun as we age. We start noticing things. We don't want to admit it to ourselves. We really don't. In our mind, we're still in our 20s. We're still going strong. And that's a good mindset to have, because that helps get you through things in life, But at the same time, be very careful if you over push yourself. You could push yourself into a sickness and not realize it until it's too late, So, I hope this could help, guys. I'll keep you updated with all this. I gotta wait till after March 22nd, or March 22nd when I go to my doctor. I got one more week with the heart monitor, and I'm hoping that March 22nd, the doctor says, okay, you can take the baby aspirins. You don't have to spend $90 every 3 months for these things. Keep that job, Dave, because if you lose that job, $1,600 every 3 months. So, let's see. In that price range, I know the Head Rush pedal board is like maybe $1,000, $1,200, a new one. The Fractal, that's like $2,700. Those are great units. The Helix is in that $1,600 range. So, just with the effect pedals. So, that's the equivalent of every 3 months buying a Helix pedal. I'd rather have the Helix pedal than this, but you know what? The Helix ain't gonna help me. This is, see. I like my little Boss GT1. So far, so good, man. So far, so good. You know, I come from the era of you did with what you had, and you'd make that work. When channel switching amps was a new thing, way before the digital stuff. I remember. I remember when the I remember when the transistor, the solid state amps were getting better and better. You know, but they were still kind of new. Started buying gear in what, 1977, something like that. And I've seen things change, you know. And a lot of it changed for the better, you know. It's really good stuff, man. The good stuff's getting better. The cheaper stuff, more affordable stuff is getting even better. It's getting constantly. So, you know, as far as gear is concerned, use what you like, man. You know, I think it's cool that everyone's able to have their thing with what they got. You know, I know some of the places that I play at, you know, especially in the past, you know, and I'm talking about just like within the last year or so, you know, I'd be playing and sometimes rival musicians and the rival bands. Right away, everyone's looking at everyone's gear, you know. Ooh, what's he using? Oh man. Oh, that's like a starter. Like the Rogue guitar. This thing's great, man. This thing is awesome. Oh, you're using that? Well, yeah, why not, man? It's staying in tune. Sounds great. Works for me. I don't have to prove I'm a big shot and have the most expensive gear. And I do like the Gibson. It has its tone that I like. And I'm not saying anything bad about expensive gear. They're, you know, they're kind of like works of art in themselves, you know. But do you need to spend all that money? Of course not, you know? Of course not. And I think that's what I like about streaming all my gigs live, because you're seeing everything as it's happening. If I have a brain fart, you know, sometimes with the weather change, the tuning, it's like, oh man, I'm already in this song, you know, I don't want to stop. To kind of deal with it. That's why sometimes I'm fiddling with my tuners. Now, sometimes if I neglect changing the strings, that's my fault, yep. Or I have a brain fart, yeah, that's my fault, you know. But there are times you're at the mercy of the climate, so you just keep moving forward. But that little GT1 in April 10th, we bought it 2 years ago. I've been using that pedal for 2 years. No issues. No issues at all. It works great through the QSC speakers. I know Boss came out with their little IR pedal, which I think is great. And there's a lot of other gear out there that's way, man, well, the sounds are incredible. Very good. I guess the only thing is those metal foot switches. I started noticing dust, dirt, you know, sand gets in there and they clog those switches, man. And I know somewhere they do sell little like thimbles, a rubber thing, which is a great idea because you could put it right over those little metal foot switches. But anything with the Boss pedals or the Digitech pedals where they have, let's see, I got one right here. Let's see if I could do this. A reverb pedal, it still works. Let's grab this. Called the X series. See, it's kind of like the Boss. I know Behringer, even though it's a real thick, harder plastic, have foot switches like that. You're not gonna get dirt. I mean, I'm not saying dirt can't get in there, but when the foot switch is exposed, that's when you got more likely you get dirt. When it's like this, it's kind of protective, which is great. That's what you need, especially doing outdoor gigs where you got anything where the ground is real sandy and the dirt's real fine. It could blow around. It blows right into those switches. So I find ways of making things work. I tweak them, and it works. It's great because at this point I want it to sound good, but I want that reliability. You know, I don't want anything breaking. And you know, let's be honest, the little GT1. I know it's old technology. You know, only $200. It's a lot easier to spend $200 than $1,600. You know, and I know it does not have the touch screen. I kind of like the screen as it is, and the reason being is, when you do an outdoor gig, the sun hits it, you can see your parameters. The touch screens and the new screens, yeah, you can still see them that, which is great. But if you're relying on everything as a touch screen and you got no switches or knobs to turn, everything's on that screen. When the sun hits it constantly, it fries everything out. One guy, when we were in St. Pete Beach a few years back, he was saying that he had the QSC speaker that had the screen, and the sun was frying the back of it. And that's how you control it. It's a touch screen. So he went back to the ones like we have with the knobs. He says because the sun's not going to burn out the knob, but it'll fry that screen when it's constant. Because this is how these people are. They have you playing outside, man. When you're in areas that the weather's nice, you're going to be outside playing. And sometimes they have you playing at a certain time of day where the sun, it always seems to be baking the gear for whatever reason. It's just the way it is. So you have to be a little bit on the creative side on how you're going to protect your gear from the climates. You're not going to be, sometimes you'll be inside, but a lot of times you'll be outside. So in that situation, you gotta watch it. But my point is that if you could get more by spending less, go for it. But getting back with all this stuff, it's not it's not a bad thing. I just wish I wasn't going through all this. That's all. Yeah. Again, if you guys ever start to feel anything that's you know your body, you know yourself. If something's not right, don't hesitate, man. Don't play with your health, because it'll only get worse if you do. So, anyways, my friends, I hope this is helpful. Again, everyone does what they want. Do what's going to work for you. Don't worry about what I'm doing or what someone else is doing, and you got to be like this. Don't even worry about all that. There's enough. You don't even have to take my advice. Just do what's really good for you. I'm just wanting to share what I've experienced, and you might experience. You might not, and hopefully you don't have to. But yeah, to listen to what your body's telling you. Don't let it slip, because it could slip and it could be irreversible. So, all right, my friends. So we are still scheduled to play Monday evening at our gig. Now the weather said we might get storms. It's tough, man, because again we're at the mercy of the outdoor weather. Hopefully, if it rains, it'll rain earlier on Monday and not in the evening. I get through and do my show. But we'll keep everybody posted on that. But yeah, just take care of your health, guys, because you only going through this world once, right? Anyways, I hope everyone stays safe out there and be creative out there and have a great time. And again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support. We really do appreciate it. And we'll keep you updated. Hopefully, I can replace this with the baby aspirins. And about another week, I can take this thing off. Okay, my friends, thanks for tuning in. And we'll keep you posted. Hopefully, Monday will be a live gig. Until then, you stay strong, safe, and true, my friends. We love you all. Rock on, and God bless. Have a good evening now. Thank you.